Are we filming?
I believe we are.
Are we on? Hi, Joyce Tiranato. Look who I'm with. Il maestro Alessandro Corbelli.
Il maestro.
Il maestro perché sei fantastica. Forse facciamo in inglese perché ci sono più gli studenti.
Yes, if my English works.
I would love to do it in Italiano, but there's a bit more people that speak English. Okay.
But I hope my English works.
I hope your English works too. We are in a lovely German restaurant here in Munich. We've just finished the Sitzprobe. We have a very amateur filmmaker filming us, but more on that later. And so we'll do this in parts. We'll get our first course and we'll talk. Okay, so I have a question for you. I tweeted and I say I'm talking with Alessandro Corbelli, maestro, domani. What do you young singers want to know from him? One person asked, how do you work out the patter?
The pattern.
The pattern.
Yes. I work it very slow. That's the secret, I think. Like the pianists in the difficult and fast passages. Very slowly. On just on a breath, on one exhaling, one big, maybe big exhaling, like col cicci, col ciucciu, col cicci, col ciucciu, col cicci, col ciucciu, col cicci, col ciucciu, or ed intanto in ogni lato.
Speaking it.
Sono zeppo contornato di memorie, petizioni, di galline, di storioni, di bottiglie, di broccati, di candele, marinati, di ciambelle, pasticcetti, di canditi, di confetti, di piastroni, di dobloni, di vaniglia, di caffè. On one exhaling, but very, very strongly.
But it sounds to me like you're actually speaking it. But that's also singing in a way. You're right between the line of speaking and singing.
Yes.
This is amazing.
Yes. I mean, the syllable have to be very, very sharp and energetic.
Yes.
I mean, in the practicing, in the studying, and then I'm sure you will reach a good result in speediness.
And so then you just go as long as the breath will take you.
Yes.
The thing I love about the way you're doing this is it's legato.
Yes, because the bass is legato of all singing.
But we Americans here, we think it's very. Our food's here.
It's just only one.
Spinach.
Yes. One exhale, like a sigh.
Sauerkraut. Spätzle!
Goulash.
With spätzle, may I?
Yes, of course.
Okay, we finished our point very quick because you don't have your food yet, cameraman. You don't know who it is yet, but you're going to be very surprised. It's legato is the bass?
Legato is the bass of every singing. Also for German, also for French. And then if the composer writes staccato, we have to be staccato. But the bass is legato because the breath is just one breath for every phrase, for each phrase, like a sigh.
And it's always the same.
Always,
that breath.
always.
And so you would then go 2 notches up on the metronome. Two clicks on the metronome higher and go a little faster.
And go
faster
and faster.
And faster and faster.
Yes.
That's patter.
That's patter.
Can you do it really fast now for us, that phrase?
Well, I'm not sure about that. Ed intanto in ogni lato sarò zeppe contornato di memorie, petizioni, di galline, di storioni, di bottiglie, di broccati, di candele, marinati, di ciambelle, pasticcetti, di canditi, di confetti, di piastroni, di dobloni, di vaniglie, di caffè.
No, ho sentito le 4 parole che
Di piastroni, the most difficult is di piastroni, di dobloni, di piastroni, di dobloni. That's the most difficult.
Okay, but more importantly, asparagus is in
because
season
there are
now.
many consonants.
Alessandro Corbelli, lezione numero 1, legato pattern, practice slowly, lentamente, sul
Sì,
fiato.
sì.
Buon appetito.
Buon appetito.
Guten Appetit. We've eaten.
Oh, whoa.
He said it. Oh, whoa. Spätzle. I've had white asparagus, which is in season. It's lovely. Okay, so another question. Recitativi. Okay, so young American singers. No offense to the rest out there, but just say young singers in general. We look at recitative and we're listening to the recording and we hear. And it goes by like lightning. And so when we study it very fast to make it sound like it's going quickly. And as I've come to learn, that's not actually the case. There needs to be clarity and direction. Talk about preparing a recitative, especially if you don't speak the language.
But that's very difficult also for Italian singers, I must say. First of all, I think you don't have to lose your exhaling like in the canto,
Yes.
like in singing. You can spell very clearly, but also just as in the pattern.
Yes.
The same thing, the same principle.
Still on the breath.
Still on the breath, because thank you.
Cafe.
The recitativo itself catches some of your voice, so you have to be very careful to speak always on the breath.
Okay, but this is a question then, because conductors will say, don't sing the recitatives,
Yes.
speak them.
Speak them, but technically, I suggest to study them exactly like singing.
On the breath.
On the breath, on one breath, and then you take another breath for the next phrase. That's obvious, but it's important. And for the non-Italian people, I suggest to listen to our language, to the how can I say, to the inflection.
Nuances.
Excuse me?
The nuances.
The nuances.
Our cameraman is speaking up. I'm sorry. The nuances.
The nuances of our wonderful cameraman.
Oh, now you know who it is. You hear the laughter. The nuances.
But especially, come si dice? Sorry, l'andamento di una lingua.
The andamento.
Andamento.
Oh, the flow of the language.
The flow of the language.
Yeah.
Exactly, the flow of the language.
The ebb and the flow.
It's not strictly necessary to learn Italian, but if it's possible, yes, why not? To listen, for example, to the actors, to the Italian actors, to the good Italian actors. Can find them good Italian. Yes, there were, and now there is some. And to the good Italian singers, like Bruce Cantini, like Bruce Cantini, like Cesare Siepi, for example. But also Callas was a beautiful example of spoken singing.
One of my big, if I do a master class, one of the things I try to really drive home if you're doing an audition is that when you're preparing, you precipitate an aria with a recitative, you have to, that recitative will show the audition panel the kind of artist that you are. Most of the time the temptation is to just get through the recitative to get to the aria.
Yes, no.
The recitative has to be set up in a way so that the aria must happen. That there's so much drama and expense in the recit that the aria has to come out of the recitative.
I totally agree with you, of course. Yes, for example, in my master classes, I insist very often when the Giuliettas sing Capuletti, you know? Eccomi in lieta, that recitative is something very, very difficult to be said. The aria is the aria, it's good, you can sing well the aria, but that's recitative. The timing of the recitative, which is not a secco recitative,
No.
already Bellini is a recitativo accompagnato, even if there is nothing under. Come vittima e not eccomi in lieta vesta, eccomi adorna come vittima all'ara, even if there are pauses.
The direction goes over the part.
Yeah, sometimes there are pauses which mean something, like come si dice, fermata.
Fermata.
No, stop. Fermo.
I know one of the things.
And the other very good piece to be studied is Adalgisa's recitativo, Arioso.
Preghiera.
That's something very, very special and very difficult. Very difficult. It's very difficult to find the balance. So you have to know very well what you are saying, what your character is saying, not you, your character is saying, to understand very well the syntaxes, not only the grammar, but the syntaxes of the phrase, of the period, and then you applicate it to the music.
I remember early on in the training we had a maestro that would actually have us sing the word-for-word translation more or less in English over the Italian, so that we had the sense of the drama and the sense of where the verbs are and the sense of where the descriptive parts are. It's very good to do a dissection, I think, of in the Italian. Know where your verbs are, the things that move the action. Know where the descriptive words are, so that you can paint those in a different kind of way and know what the price of each phrase is that you're saying, why you have to be saying it.
Yeah.
Recitativi.
Recitativi. The recitativo secco is very similar to the prose, to the spoken theater.
It's also a technical thing. You have to know everybody's line, because the worst thing is you hear their line and there's a pause and then you say your line. It needs to be.
It's a team. It's a team work. Also in the music is something to make music, like to make music together with the orchestra.
When you're interrupting somebody, like I just did, or when you're dovetailing with each other, or when you really take a pause to think about it,
Exactly.
It's a play.
But you are the master.
I'm going to give my cameraman a break and let him drink his coffee, and then we'll be right back after a word from your sponsor.
Ispirando ordinato che a vista qual cambiale io sia sposato, son diseredato, fatto un invito a tutto il vicinato e trovando un boccone delicato per me l'ho destinato, detto. E adesso prendo fiato.
So here we are, just finishing a lovely lunch in the Plaza. Oh my goodness, it's Larry Brownlee. And Alessandro Corbelli.
In the Burnham Wood.
Larry, darling, thank you so. You've been filming us.
Of course, yes.
How are you? I love your bow tie.
Thank you.
Okay, so listen.
We tied them.
Don't say anything, okay? I'm going to give you a compliment. But you're a superstar and you are an inspiration to so many young singers. What do they tend to ask you about?
Thank you, Joyce. It's very nice of you. That's the microphone, yes. I think it's easier for people, young people, to ask me because you and I are both, and also Alessandro, we're all young, and so we have some common ground in the sense that, I feel like even the young singers, we're all colleagues. I don't feel like I'm a maestro at all. I feel like I'm a colleague, and so
He's a maestro.
something that
I am a colleague.
he's a maestro.
I'm a pupil.
But it's great for us to continue to learn from people like Alessandro and others that have been schooled in the real styles of that repertoire that we sing. So they ask me every question under the sun, and I always try to answer it in the best way that I can. It's just my take on it, and it's not the authority by any means, but I always enjoy sharing with young singers. So.
Okay, coloratura.
Like that.
Oh no, wait. First,
Chuck.
the high C. How do you get into your high C?
How do I get into my high C?
Or in German, the Z, right? C is Z.
C. Yeah.
C.
C.
Okay.
A lot of young tenors ask me all the time, how do you sing high Cs? I've always had a high voice, so I've always had more or less the ability, but the facility. But I had to learn how to find it and to do it and sing it in an efficient way. I've had teachers that told me that you always have to bring your head voice down, and the voice has to be unified from the top to the bottom. Some singers, you hear them and they sound like they have 3 different voices. Thankfully, I've had teachers that have insisted that your voice is uniform in the sense that it is from top to bottom, it sounds the same.
Yeah.
And so you have to find that in a free way. Is every note that I sing on the stage every single night the best note I can make?
Yes.
No, it is not. But it's something that I strive towards, and that comes from applying your technique to everything you do, really in a way with study, that even if you see it on the page, you have to realize that this is something that has to be a part of you. It has to be internal. You become more efficient at singing when you practice it. I tell people all the time that you cannot practice too much. It is impossible.
Even if you're going to wear out your voice?
Physically, I'm not talking about physically, but another thing I learned a long time ago is that the last thing you do is sing. For example, today we were sitting in the practice room on the break, and our camera woman, Joyce, was working on the English language. Joyce was born in Kansas City, right?
Yep.
And so she speaks English, but in order to master these things, you have to spend time with it, even if it's your own language, like you do.
Yes.
Like you wrote down the recitative. You have to spend time to apply what your language in the most efficient technical way. Without that,
I agree.
you cannot begin to master your voice. So you must apply that. So with the high C's, it was something that I had the facility, but I had to learn how to sing it in an efficient way. Because if, as my teacher said, if you sing on the principle, you won't have anything down the road.
So you're never giving everything.
Yes, you don't give everything. There's some times where you have to sing on level 8, 9, and 10 in the evening. But if you sing on 8, 9, and 10 the entire evening, it's boring and you spend too much. But if you can sing on level 2 or 3 and find a way, why? Because it's piano, because it's musical, because it's the dolcezza, something that you find a reason to do this, along with your technique, makes your singing much more interesting.
Don't you guys worry that sometimes if you hear young singers today, they seem to only be worried about making sound? Making sound.
I mean, I think many young singers want a result before the principle, and the principle is the birth of the sound, which comes from the breath.
The breath.
And the breath is all for us. The sound is breath transformed into sound by the vibration of the vocal cords. That's all. And that's all. And there you have to find the balance.
Yeah.
easy to say.
Mille grazie per questi lezione di cantare, ecco. You guys are the best. It's a pleasure to sing with you. Any other parting words of wisdom?
Joyce is awesome.
Oh no, come on. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Sorry.
Goodbye, everybody.
Questo cor più